Welcome back to the channel, guys. And yes guys, this is exactly how Porsche is scamming everyone with their brand new 992 GT3RS. Of course, it is literally one of the hottest cars on the market right now. It could even be considered the hottest car on the market because this thing is selling like hotcakes. But the one thing is, not everyone can get their hands on this, especially from a first-hand dealer. And that is because Porsche have a certain guideline or a certain restriction that only very VIP members of the Porsche clientele can get this. And you have to have a certain buying history with Porsche, and you in fact have to own a couple of models. And the thing is, a couple of the models that you have to own are literally multiple just basic models which will literally depreciate over time. And this, of course, this thing is literally going up and up, especially in terms of the second-hand market. This thing is, if you ask me, one of the most overrated things ever made, and especially for the given price that it's selling at in terms of the second-hand market, it is atrocious, because this has of course got a base price of $241,300, or let's just round it up to $250K. But when you take a look at the markets, it is selling for over double that. I mean, that is literally ludicrous for something like this. Of course, it is a phenomenal car, don't get me wrong, but it is definitely not worth the money of $500,000. I mean, that is literally £500,000, and even in pounds, it is selling for 100 or 150 over MSRP, literally a 200,000 pound car. But it's selling for 350 to 320, and even up, all the way up to 380K. And if you ask me, that is literal ludicrousness on its own. And I mean, yes, it is a good car. It is a track weapon on its own, capable of producing 860 kilograms of downforce max at the speed of 285 kilometers an hour. But it is in no way worth the price tag of literally $500,000 US. I mean, of course, yes, it is a GT3RS, but if you ask me, it has literally become quite an overrated car at this point. Of course, it's got DRS, something literally F1 tech inspired by F1 on its own, but $500,000 just doesn't cut it. But that's not all. Coming to the fact that Porsche is misleading their customers, or potential customers who actually want to just buy the GT3RS, they're misleading them, saying that if they just pick out 8 to 10 of their basic models, i.e. Cayennes, Macans, 911s, Panameras or Taycans or whatever, you buy a certain number of them, and then you can get the allocation for the GT3RS. And by get the allocation, I mean that is exactly what they are telling the customers. And after they are done splurging around 200 to 300K on literally basic cars to in fact get this GT3RS, which is literally what it would take as to what they're spending on the basic cars. So they're literally spending the equivalent amount of 2 GT3RSs to get 1 GT3RS, and half of that money is literally just going to drop, because of course those cars are literally just going to depreciate over time. And the thing is, even after certain customers have spent that money and have bought out the required criteria of Porsche cars, or the basic ones, they are still misled and they are not given an allocation. And this is in fact, I come with proof. This is in fact a proper thing that has actually happened previously, and I come with proof, as I'll show you right now. And well guys, I wasn't lying when I said that this is in fact a proper true story, and I've got proof right here. And of course, credit goes strictly to GB London for this exact shot. So let's take a look and see that there is in fact this stuff happening all around.
So I've got a client who was promised the GT3RS by his Porsche dealer, and was said that you have to buy at least 10 models from us and we'll get you it. We'll allow you to spec your car, but yeah, just go and crack on. So he went and bought some Macans for his staff, he bought a Cayenne for his missus, he bought a couple of 911s for himself. And I think he was on his 8th or 9th car, and he contacted the dealer principal and he said, okay, surely I can spec my 3RS now. And he said to him, he said, there's no guarantee that you're going to get the car. More than happy if you spec it and leave a deposit, but I don't think I can guarantee you the car. And this is him after buying 8 models that he didn't want, only for him to get a 3RS. So,
well guys, there you have it. This is literally happening all around, and this is him after buying 8 to 9 of the models that he literally did not even want. He literally just bought those in order to get a proper GT3RS, and he was still misled. And the thing is guys, even after the customers were convinced to leave a deposit, they would still not get a GT3RS allocation. It is literally just a ticking time bomb that literally never ticks down. And I mean, they are literally playing everyone for saps. And even given the fact that this man, and this happened to other people as well, given that this man spent quite a bit of money on, as you guys heard, 911s, Macans and Cayennes, in order to just get a 200,000 pound GT3RS, he's definitely spent around at least 200 to 250,000 quid. And that is just alone on these base models. So that on its own makes sense that they are literally scamming people and not even giving the customers what they are coming in for. And this on its own is literally just in return giving a bad rep to Porsche on their own. I don't know what they're doing this for. I mean, of course, Ferrari do this a lot, but the thing with Ferrari is you have to buy a good car to get a great car. The perfect example is an SF90. Of course, I don't like it any bit. If you ask me, it is one of the most soulless Ferraris ever made, but that's a topic for another video. But of course, you have to buy the SF90, the base one, in order to get the SF90XX, and that works all as the same. And of course, the new F250 hypercar, i.e. the LaFerrari replacement, is on its way, inbound in 2025, and the criteria for that is that you have to own a certain amount of Ferraris. And of course, you can see Shmi 150 and Triple F stacking up on as many Ferraris as they can, of course, in order to get the F250. But the case is the same thing here, but once again customers are in fact being misled, which Ferrari doesn't do as far as I know. But it is completely unfair if you ask me. I mean, they're coming spending about more than what they would spend on a GT3RS, literally just to get a GT3RS, and they're spending the equivalent of 2 GT3RSs and not even getting what they came for. And that also just reflects back onto Porsche and as to what the hell they are doing. But to be honest, if you ask me, guys, this is a complete bush league scam if you ask me, because of course, just imagine that you're a customer, you want to get the new 992 GT3RS, you walk in, they ask you to buy 8 to 9 models, and then you pick out, you spend, let's say, about 300 grand in USD, and you have done this under the belief that the salesman has guaranteed you a slot or a GT3RS allocation. So you spend your 300 quid just buying random Porsches all over, and then finally you come to your 9th or 10th model, and then you have basically filled the criteria in order to get a GT3RS allocation. But right then the salesman hits you right in the face with the fact that he cannot guarantee you a GT3RS allocation, and this is literally what happened right here in this very shot and in this very scenario. I mean, just imagine that you will have spent a buttload of money, which is literally, in fact, as much in terms of GBP or pounds and USD, you will have literally spent the same equivalent to get a GT3RS on base models that you literally don't even want, and given the fact that they will depreciate in value, I mean, that is literally just hurting you even more. And of course, guys, I mean, the second-hand market, that is a whole other thing. And of course, guys, there's a bigger factor at play, and that is the fact that in some cases, and in terms of the GT3RS as well as the 911ST, Porsche makes the customers finance the car and not just buy it right out with cash or whatever. And that is because in case if the owner wants to sell it, Porsche will in fact buy it back at the same price as what he bought it for. But you think that is normal, right? Wait for it, and that is because they buy it back and they sell it for over $100,000 to $150,000 over MSRP. That is literally what the second-hand market is offering, and that is being done by Porsche dealers on their own. I have seen it, and it has been seen before. But I mean, if they are literally buying your car back at the same price you bought it, and they are flipping it for 100 to 150 over, I mean, what is the point in all this? Seriously, Porsche, what are you all doing? I mean, I get it with the 911ST because that is, of course, a very rare one, a tribute edition, if you will, only 1963 being made. And of course, that is something that collectors or most people buy to garage queen them. And I love the fact that y'all are doing it in terms of the first year being financed so as to ensure that they, in fact, are driven and not garage queen. I love that. But the GT3RS scandal, if you ask me, is a total scam. And the fact that y'all are flipping them for over MSRP, wow, I mean, y'all are already earning the equivalent of one GT3RS from misleading the customers to buy a buttload of basic Porsche models in order to get a GT3RS, and y'all are already getting the base price and even more in certain cases as to what you would get from one customer buying one GT3RS. Wow, I mean, this is a complete marketing thing on its own, but I mean, it is unfair to the customers, and given the fact that the GT3RS or the 992 GT3RS was hyped on its own, and this delivers on that, I'll give it to it. But if you ask me, it is not as a special car as you'd think, and not something that is definitely worth 500k. I mean, 250k on its own is more than enough, but 500k, no thank you. I would rather get myself an Aventador or SUV Roadster. That thing is rarer than this. Be it even a Roadster or a Coupe, I would get one of those. I get an NA V12. Of course, it's not as track tuned, but it provides a more visceral, and it's got an NA V12 on the back. I'm a sucker for V12, so that is literally obligatory for me to go ahead for that. But nevertheless, guys, I mean, this is just more stuff happening. And in terms of the fact that the market is literally gotten out of hand, and well, guys, now coming to the market, and I wasn't lying, there is proof right there in the pudding, as you guys can see. I mean, just take a look at them, and these are literally just little bit over or little delivery mile spec GT3RS. Just take a look, 520,000 for a 201 mile car. 243 miles, 520k, 499, let's just say half a mil, 35 miles. This is a proper delivery mile spec car. 480,000 for 280 miles. I mean, these prices are just ludicrous. And this is being sold by Lamborghini Proud, and since they are a licensed dealer for Lamborghini, they mostly are as well as a licensed dealer for Porsche. I'm just taking a shot in the dark for that, but nevertheless, carrying on, the prices are still ludicrous as they are. 520k, once again, 201 miles. I mean, these just keep pinching you more in the pocket. Once again, another one for 520, 480 is the same one, 520 for 500. these just keep going on, guys. I mean, the average price as of right now, as you guys can see, is around 490k on its own. And well, let's just take a look at some of the other sites and what others are offering for, once again, as you guys can see, 513. Now that is just on 250 miles, 360 miles, half a mil as well. Another one for half a mil as well, 30 miles delivery mile spec, 125 miles, half a mil. This 3200 mile one has been driven for quite a bit, but it is still being quoted for $200,000 over the MSRP. I mean, 480 grand. I mean, nah, I know I'm spending that, especially for a car that has been driven for 3200 miles. Another one as well, 4215 miles, 440k, but still it's just under, literally, if you take it about the starting price, $440,000 for a second-hand GT3RS that went for 4,215 miles around, and its base price is $241,000. I mean, just a $200,000 difference. 460,000 once again for a 1,788 mile example. I mean, again, 520, 460, 500. These just keep shocking me even more and more. Now we move on to the UK market, and now these are also where, as I said, the base price for a UK or a British GT3RS in the UK, of course, I'm assuming it's the same equivalent as what is there in the United States, where the base price is 240k. I'm just saying and rounding it off to 250. 250,000 US dollars equates to 200,000 or 197,000 GBP. I'm just going to round that off to 200k. And once again, here we come off with the bangers, 380k, 10 miles on this thing. Most probably just went home after it got delivered and literally never got taken out. I mean, once again, 370,000, 275 miles. 370,000, 55 miles. Every single one right here is literally nearly developed, except the 275 mile one. Every single other one is literally just above or just delivery miles, spec cars on their own. 420k on this. Who in the right mind will spend that? I mean, no one in good conscience will spend that much on a new GT3RS. As it is, if you ask me, as I said, it's one of the most overhyped and overrated cars. And once again, another British area, if you will, 350k, 779 miles, 350k on this, 370k on this. 370 once again. I mean, 275 miles on that, 255 miles on that, 779. This thing is still going up for quite a bit. I mean, 150 over MSRP in terms of the pounds. I mean, wow. And now, as I said, the Aventador SV on its own, you can get this for, if you want, under 500k for literally the same price as you'd get a second-hand GT3RS. I mean, just take a look, 540k, as you've seen, 520, 530,000 examples around. And as well as a sub $500,000 Aventador SV. And given the fact that this is rarer, a better one, if you ask me, obviously it's not a track car, but it's got an NA V12. It is one of the rarest Aventador variants. Of course, there are more rarer Aventador variants, the Pirelli edition, the Ultimates, the 1 of 5 Taiwan editions, and of course more and more the Miura editions as well, the Miura homage editions, if you will. Another sub 500,000 one. And of course, another 570,000. I mean, if you want a good, decent spec example, i.e. the Aventador SV, you just got to spend about 50 to 70,000 or at max 100,000 more as to what you would spend on the second-hand GT3RS. I mean, the prices on their own are ludicrous, guys. What do you think about this? And well, guys, there you have it, how Porsche is scamming their customers. And I mean, I get it with the 911 ST, but seriously, guys, the GT3RS, of course, it is a good car. It is a phenomenal road-going track weapon. Complete DRS in its own, a massive wing, 860 kilograms of downforce, something which is literally 60 kilograms more. It produces 60 kilograms more than the McLaren Senna on its own, and that is an 800 horsepower complete track weapon. But guys, I mean, 500,000 for this, no thank you. And the fact that Porsche is misleading their customers who actually genuinely like the car and just want to get it, and they will definitely drive the car, given how much hype this has given and given how much it lives up to that hype. People are actually coming in, and it is definitely a phenomenal car. But the way Porsche is tricking their or misleading their customers is completely unfair, if you ask me. And if it is just going to result in more further backlash towards Porsche and them just losing out on sales. And given the fact that even after certain customers splurge the equivalent of one GT3RS and in certain cases more on basic models just to get their hands on one GT3RS, and they are not even given, even after guaranteed by the salesman or saleswoman that they will definitely get a slot or allocation for a GT3RS, they are not even given that. They are just given the option to spec it or leave a deposit, and that runs on the deposit thing is a ticking time bomb that goes the opposite way around. It never comes down and explodes. It just keeps on ticking all the way over, and Porsche will most likely never call you back. And that runs on, guys, that is totally unfair. And given the fact that they operate and in such a way where the entire automotive industry is out there, and there are in certain cases better cars as well, but at the same time Porsche are delivering and giving such a very good phenomenal car, especially in this market in its own. As I said, this is a literal hot cake on its own. The second they pop up, they go. But the second they do pop up, they are sold for prices of over $500,000 USD or over 300 to nearly 400,000 GBP or pounds on their own, and that on its own is unacceptable. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments below. Thanks a lot for watching, guys. Remember to hit that sub button and click the bell to ensure that you don't miss out on any future videos. Thanks a lot for watching, guys. See ya.